Good morning, breakfast clubbers. Good morning. Really? Good morning, breakfast clubbers. Good morning. Holy crap, man! Wake up. Okay, we have to sing, and Gabriel's going to do a solo.
You got to sing.
I want to hear a solo.
Okay, maybe not.
This is an ancient tradition, I guess. Oh.
Let's see what I want to do. Hey, I will do hail. Hail, hail, the gang's all here. Morning breakfast clubbers, morning breakfast clubbers. Chow, 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 all one chow. That is what we're here for now. God, you guys are not into it today, man. All right, this is what we're going to do. All right, I want to. There's a lot of news, a lot of things going on, a lot of things happening, and as usual, the first Friday of the month we publish Freedom's Phoenix Easy. Has anybody taken? Did you guys look at it yet? Each one of the issues, is my favorite in various different ways. You probably can just unscrew that. There you go. Different issues are on various different things. Hi, Karen. There's philosophy of libertarianism. There's how to live under that philosophy, how to advocate for that philosophy, activism stuff. We have homeschooling editions, education, the future. We have editions that are all about self-sustainability and how to milk goats and grow gardens and make chicken eggs and whatever. There are issues on everything about the internet. There's Bitcoin, alternative currencies. Every issue has something different that we focus on. The last issue was on what happens when, because it'd be a coming sooner or later, I thought it'd been here a long time ago, what happens when as individuals we are able to produce, keep, and use as much energy as we want? Then what? How does society organize itself? What happens? Well, the reason that was such a focus at the time was because I understood that was coming. And it's getting the cost of solar cell production has plummeted. That is not the problem anymore. For the electric bills, all of a sudden you're taking rooms off. So I take a month, buy enough panels to take one more room off. I do the bathroom and get all my inverters and everything down. Okay, I got my bathroom off and all my, infrastructure to get going. Oh, then next week I'm going to take the living room and the TVs and everything. Then next week I'm going to take off the kitchen with the refrigerators and the microwave. Next week I'm going to, now, I'll give you an example. Gary and Verda live in Sun City West. How much is your monthly electric bill?
Well, it varies in the wintertime, about $21 a month. The highest it was this summer was 78. Wow.
Get it? Wow. The problem is not production, it's storage. It is the batteries. What happened was, I'll give you this real quick and you'll understand why we're doing this. A friend of mine lives out in Tonopah. He's the refueling supervisor for the nuclear power station, one of them. And he moved out from West Phoenix. He moved out past Palo Verde with his family and so on, about, around less than 10 miles past nuclear power station in Tonopah. He didn't even have to go on the highway to get to work. He just takes this road, boom, I'm at, work. On the other side of a mountain there, he has a nice home on 8 acres. Even as an employee and living close to the power station, they wanted to charge him $20,000 to $30,000 to hook up his home to electricity. He goes, no thank you. I will do it myself. So he has, the water and communications and everything. He's totally off-grid. Solar, a windmill, because whenever it blew wind out there, he's all pissed off. Now he's not pissed off anymore because he got a windmill. Okay, makes you appreciate the wind more. Then you have a battery backup. It's under, he dug a big 10-foot hole, cinder blocks up the side, concrete floor on the top. That's ground level, and then a tough shed. Just looks like a shed out there. Take the door off, has a beam that goes up, lowers and raises batteries. Okay, there's a ladder that goes down it. So he has a diesel backup and so on. In the summer, he's having to run his diesel probably 6-7 hours a day to power the air conditioner, all that kind of stuff. Solar cells got so cheap in just the last few months, he doubled his, he wants to even triple it. He's going, all of a sudden, I can power 2 window shaker air conditioners, I'm totally off grid. In 2,600 square foot, 2x6 construction, well insulated home. 2,600 square feet. So he's like going, you know, sucks to be y'all. He puts LED lights in everywhere. He has high efficiency, blah, 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 so on. Things go to crap. You got enough food storage. You got his own well. You know, you're all in the zombie apocalypse, and all he's got to do is worry about having an M14 keeping him at his property line, which you might have to do, you know. What happened was he was demonstrating proof of concept for the past 8 years. Nickel iron battery, he has to change out the lead acid batteries because they always go bad after about 3 or 4 years for thousands of dollars. So what happens is he starts, you know, this sucks, man. I'm on my 3rd batch here. There's got to be a better way to do this. Nickel iron batteries. Thomas Edison developed these over 100 years ago. And Exide Batteries, that makes lead acid batteries, bought up the manufacturing technology in the plant and all that kind of stuff. They're making money, doing good. Nickel iron batteries have, you know, you can charge them down to nothing and back up. It doesn't hurt them. They last forever. You don't even check the fluids in them for 15 years. You're willing to the next generation. They're great, wonderful, 2 thumbs up family, good fun. Exide Battery buys up all the manufacturing and everything been going on for almost 100 years. They bought them up on a shelf and said, now you got to keep buying lead acid batteries. It's like a 100 mile per gallon carburetor thing, okay? So we start finding all this out. We're driving around the country, Don and I, during June, July, and he's calling me, telling me all this stuff he's learned and everything, and I said, you know, I remember an article from back in August of 1991, Popular Science. And I said, you know, I'll bet you that if you combine carbon nanotubes, which have a lot of different traits, with nickel iron batteries, what would happen is you'd have an increase in energy density to do this thing. And I'm going to explain to you what that means. If you take carbon in a certain inert gas atmosphere, like argon or helium or something, and you have a catalyst, which is combinations of nickel and whatever, and you gas going in there of acetylene, which is C2H2, or carbon dioxide or some kind of carbon source, you strip break the bond of some of the, you know, atoms, and you get carbon, and it assembles in a tube, and all of a sudden you got these really strong structures. 1,000 times more conductive than copper. Stronger than steel. Light. And very small. Nano. Billionth of a meter. Very small. So if you get all of this forest, you know, growing on a you know, wafer or whatever, there's a lot of things that you can do with it. But the main thing is that I wanted to point out was that, let me get to a place so I can show you. You guys haven't seen this. I want to show you a little something so you can see why we did this month's edition the way we did. I started a thing called, and it's more than just making a, you know, denser, higher energy battery and all that and let me get a chemistry set and have fun. To the point that I talked to the FBI Thursday. Okay, let me tell you where that's going. Yeah, get over it, man. What we did is we had a project going on, and I go, okay, so we're having to, you know, let our little law enforcement friends know what's going on because of this flyer. All right? Let me show you what this flyer is about. You go on trash cans, and you just go and put these under the trash can. Agent 4409, you know, because that just pisses them off right there. You know that. The Office of Total Information Awareness stopped by and checked your trash, and, oh yeah, did you get your mandatory vaccination? Well, we need to interview you, call this number. Well, we print them two papers on there, 2 on one, 2 on another, and these young 17, 18-year-old kids that are supporters of Michael Kielsky that we met at a fundraiser for Mark Vicker and him, they go, we want to do something. What can we do? I want to do. How can we want to do? And they go, well, talk to Ernie. And I go, okay, you want to do something? I give you something to do. So I go, now, and we'll develop it, and I'll put in whatever. And at the bottom of it are QR codes. Truth goes to Freedom's Phoenix. Justice goes to the L Factor, which is all of the libertarian candidates. And American Way is the Freedom's Phoenix e-zine, our digital magazine, because I can. I mean, you know what am I going to put out? And we usually had at the bottom, what we had was the Department of Homeland Security logo, the FBI, Department of Justice, and I'm only going to be able to get away with this so long before they start hauling me in for that one, okay? So I'm just going, I'll just put some QR codes down there. Now what that means is that Ruth and Burl, they're going, I don't know, it looks like what the hell's at the bottom. They don't know. It was a demographic thing. Of course we knew that, you know, people our age and older probably weren't going to get it. It's the young guys. They know exactly what that is. What it is you blip it with your phone. You go with your camera, you go blip, and it immediately goes to a web page. Okay? That's all it is. When you see a web page up, you know, www. Go somewhere. I got to remember it. I got to type it in, whatever. But QR codes, you can get up to 256 characters, I think it is, of whatever text or a secret message, you know, whatever you want. You go blip and you go straight to a web page. So you know what's happening. You know, the kids are showing mom and dad what that means. Okay? So we're getting family multi-generational interaction on this thing, which was the point. Okay? Plus it looks scary anyway. When they get this, and they get down to, did you get your mandatory vaccinations? Oh, they're pissed off by it. Let me tell you who gets pissed off the most. It's the Fox News guys. They're watching Fox News. Yeah, go get them terrorists, and there's some Mexicans here somewhere that need to be shipped off somewhere, and you know, whatever. Ooh, we gotta go get somebody. They get one of these on their trash can, they feel so violated. They're like, hey man, you know, I'm a good American, okay? What the hell are they going through my trash? Well, you're advocating everybody going through everybody else's trash, okay? So they're the first ones to call. Now, the first time we had done this, I've seen this on the internet, kind of ideas like this before, kind of a spoof. The first time we did it was the Super Bowl was here in 2008. Remember that? And Giants versus the Patriots. Okay, that's where the Ron Paul Patriot logo we created came from and all that stuff. But what happened, we had a box of these, just like I got sitting there. Now, a box about two times this is a third of it, have already been put out. We had a box sitting there, and somebody grabbed a stack about like this. And they went in their neighborhood and just started putting it on, you know, the trash cans around the Glendale football stadium over there. All of a sudden, boom! I didn't even know they had done it, and it's all over the Arizona Republic. You know, they put it, you know, police say pay no attention to orange flies. They go on to describe it a little bit.
Whose phone number was on that particular flyer?
That one was Republic, I think, or something.
That's the reason why you got the article.
Yeah. So they don't like. So what we do is the news. Where's the number go? KFYI, Channel 15, Republic, Channel 12. Okay. So these kids, just for grins and giggles to see what's going on, they call KFYI. This is the radio station! Quit calling us! So where do I get my vaccination? It says I gotta be interviewed. Don't you have the number to somebody in the government? Blah, 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 blah. So all of them are pissed off, which was my intent, okay? The last time we did this was for Fountain Hills. They wanted to force people to go to municipal trash collection and all that kind of stuff. Made a big KFYI. When that happened was the day after the 2010 election, okay? KFYI reporters and all the media and everything, they were up all night waiting for election results. They get to bed like, 5, 6 in the morning. They drag themselves in at 9 or something. Ring, 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 all freaking day. They call me, Ernie, make it stop. Don't do it again. I go, this kind of stuff, I won't have to do it. Oh, yeah, call us next time. We'll get right on it.
Yeah.
Right. So this time I called, and I made a mistake. I had a name for KFYI. Well, we had done some advertising for Freedom Summit one time, and the sales rep, her name was Natalie. Oh, this is Natalie, and it was a voicemail. Well, I promise you guys I'd call you. This is what we're going to do, blah, 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 blah. After I hung up, I go, oh, yeah, that wasn't the newsroom. That was my sales rep. That's good. So she's like, I don't know, he's doing something. I won't tell her he's doing. Now, Jim Sharp, the morning talk show host, he's a good friend, and I just sent it to him. So when they start bitching, this is what it's about. So I talked to him, but he's going to have Cody Wilson, the 3D gun printer guy. We'll talk about that in a little bit too. So I'm going, all right. So these young guys want to get, some kind of impact. Then of course the Ron Paul meetup and somebody they go, yeah, well, it goes to Ernie's sites and bitch, whine, moan. I go, yeah. Well, you give me the $2,000 it costs this site and to have this and the printing of and the getting everything, and then we can put what you want on there. Okay. Until then, shut up. And here is the template. So Matt that's running the meetup now, he goes, well, there's kind of some push. I go, fine, have them just do their own. I gave them the template. They can make and create and print and do and customize and put whatever the heck they want on themselves. There's the template. It gets printed up like that. You can check off which boxes you want. You can change the text. You can do whatever you want. So I go, you can go to whatever website. Not just I go, you think ArizonaTipHotline.info means anything to somebody in San Diego? You change it yourself. But that's not really what they just want to give an excuse not to do anything or to bitch. So my point is, I go, that's why I never deal with collectives. That's why I never do groups. That's why I do it because I want to. And sometimes people do it with me. This right here, the L factor, we wanted to make sure that went to somewhere that now AZ Tip Hotline, what does that look like? Make sure we don't go to my porn sites. AZ Tip Hotline.
Yeah, don't let us call you.
Oh, my wife, man, that's I'm verboten, man. So it kind of got this Nazi-esque coloring, it's kind of, swastika-y, I wanted that. And we can put whatever, stuff we want on there. Now, AZ Tip Hotline, we used to have another site that was, a little different format, but we wanted to do this because we could and make it easier for us to edit. When you go into the story, it tells you, it goes like this. Oh, yeah, if you are visiting this site, you have received a thank you for cooperating. Note from one of our investigators, or sorry we missed you notice. Thank you for your interest in phase 2 of our total individual compliance program, blah, 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 blah. Now, as it goes through and it talks about different things, it has hypertext that go to real stories on the New York Times and the Washington Post about UPS drivers turning in anybody to Homeland Security that wears a turban. This is real stuff, and that's why the media and certainly law enforcement leave us alone. Because if they come after us, this is about Facebook. Facebook is like CIA, man. All the board of directors are guys that have links to the blah, blah, blah on there. Like, thank you for giving us your favorite color and all your friends' faces. Okay, that's been really nice of y'all. So this is all that we're putting in there. Anybody that goes there and starts following these links, they're like, got an education, oh my God. Which is the point. That's what this is, an education. At the same time, what's the solution? We put truth, justice, American way. So what's justice? America. It goes to the L factor. Liberty, the determining factor. We've had this for almost a decade. Every election cycle, it's just a way we used to do business cards that had all the candidates, because the press would always say, well, we talk about you guys, but we didn't know where you were, we couldn't find you, didn't have a phone number, whatever, blah, 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 BS excuse they have. So I go, yep, well, there it is. This guy, and there's his phone numbers, and so-and-so's running, and whatever, and so on, and there you go. So then we have, see, there's Mark Victor, there's Michael, there's phone numbers, and so on. So, of course, when you go in, there's links and information so that you get, so all of this is one-stop shopping. The thing is it has nothing to do with the campaigns. It's something that I do as an individual, and I can spend a gazillion trillion dollars doing whatever I want. It's called the First Amendment, bite me, take me to jail. Okay? So this is how I can make use and justify it as a promotional thing for Freedom's Phoenix. I get some traffic to Freedom's Phoenix, the traffic goes up, a bunch of kids get something to do, they go bug the living crap out of media. It's not covering a bunch of this stuff. That's true. I mean, what do we have here? Are they searching your stuff? Hell yeah. The one that I like the most, is, I can't remember who came up with this stuff. We developed this over years. We're sorry, This information is privileged. Okay, you can't tell anybody that this is what they did. The Patriot Act. There were some librarians in Vermont that challenged the wanting to know all of the books that were checked out and by whom for whatever and all that kind of stuff. And they go, no, 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 no. The fact that they challenged it openly, 10 years in prison for even saying we were looking. Okay, so that went through whatever. I don't think they went to jail, but. We're sorry this information is privileged. Divulging information of this search is a violation in accordance with the Patriot Act and is punishable up to 10 years in federal prison, or you may be subjected to indefinite detention. Now, when you go down towards the bottom, authorities for the proceeding postulates are delegated by the following articles. National Defense Authorization Act, sections 10, 21, 20, whatever. This is where they have the ability to just come in, the military, arrest you, put you in indefinite detention without a trial, jury, nothing in America. You want to know when we got Nazi Germany-ified? That's when it happened, okay? Our future generations will look back at what happened. There it is, okay? You go and you go through this and you look, you get an education. This is why law enforcement are kind of like, we don't want that tar baby on us. They'll get me some other way, okay? They'll get me for not taking in my trash can or something, but they're going to get me, all right? So to try to avoid death and damnation, I call Al Ramirez from the from the Phoenix Police Department. He's my contact for Confrontation Prevention Squad and all that kind of stuff. Al, word up. All right, Ernie, we can do this time. Send him the files on this. You know, you saw that PDF. We're going to be putting that out. You're going to be getting a lot of attention. People are going to be calling, whining, bitching, moaning. You know, this is what it is. Get over it. Okay, cool, peace. And I go, but I got another thing. I am in the project with a lab that I have set up, that I am doing a bunch of experimentation. Because of the drug war, I can't buy any chemicals. I can't get glassware. I go to a chemical company, and I need some glassware. Now there's a workstation here, here, back over here. I got like 5 stations doing various things, and I'll explain what this is. And we'll get to Gabriel. What we're doing is I wanted to make it very obvious that the innovation of America and individual Americans and that Yankee ingenuity, American ingenuity, we can do it from our workbench in our freaking garage and save America and build and invent computers and Apple out of my parents' garage kind of thing. The reason that doesn't happen anymore is because they don't want it to. They, them, those. Those won't leave us alone. All kinds of, government stuff, okay? So I'm going, all right, what if we can inspire the next generation? Generation Next, the government's a bunch of lying sacks of snot that, are just doing whatever for their buddies and grant monopolies and, defeating innovation in certain areas so that, it's like, oh, we can't have free energy. Well, then the oil companies go out of business. It confuses me with someone that cares, okay? So I'm going, what is the proper role of government? Is to defend the rights of the individual, do whatever the hell they want, pursue their happiness, keep, maintain their liberty, maintain their life, get the product of their life and liberty, get to keep their stuff, their property. That's the only purpose of government. If they don't do that, it's time to alter or abolish. That's why my show is Declare Your Independence with Ernie Hancock. So I'm going, okay. There was a guy named Chris that owns a company called K-Tech in Chandler. Big chemical company, he builds clean rooms for large companies. Westbrook might know, where Westbrook goes. You might know, the companies that build clean rooms for, small business, whatever they need to make, ship, daylight, whatever. So he does a lot of chemistry, like glassware. I look at it, I go, I can't believe it. There is nowhere in this, we're one of the, top 15 metropolitan areas. You cannot walk into a store and buy a beaker. I need a flask, a beaker, this, or that. The closest you can come is go to the hobby bench and get some little science kit or something. You want to start doing any kind of distillation or whatever, you got to go online. You go to these guys, they go, look, the reason we can't sell you don't have a manufacturing license with a business address, go through all this stuff. He's a Ron Paul guy. He's like, yeah, I'll help you out if I can, but the reason they don't is because they always get these like BATF going to gun dealers. All of a sudden they get this form and it says, we want to know every single invoice that you got in your back, whatever, and computer records and the boxes of paper, whatever, that you ever sold a blah, blah, blah to somebody because they were a meth lab. okay? It's the drug war. You get chemicals, de la whatever. You can't buy Sudafed. You got to, I mean, you know, whatever it is, okay? And I'm going, all I want is the catalyst to create what I'm doing comes from nickel. I want nickel dioxide. That's all I want. Oh, hell no. He goes, I don't know, man. It's not, I can't, it's banned, Department of Homeland, whatever. And I go, are you freaking kidding me? It's nickel, okay? Because I know it is a catalyst for the development of enormous, production of nanotubes and different other manufacturing and so on. Hell no, okay? So all of a sudden, these chemistry guys that I'm dealing with, I found one down by the airport, Sky Harbor, called ChemLab, that has used stuff. I mean, it's almost like park and swap for lab stuff. So you know they're getting watched, So I'm dealing with these guys who are in chemicals, and it's a father and son, and then they find out they knew about Ron Paul, this guy. The son, let me tell you a story. So he goes on, something totally off. His wife worked for Charles Schwab or something, some big SEC when the markets came, blame and doing kind of goes. I'm like, whoa, blow my hair back and all this stuff. I mean, where does it ever stop? It's everybody, everywhere is getting nailed. So my thing was, I'm going, I always like having, I'm 12 years old, you get a little chemistry set, you're playing with whatever. The biggest thing, it was a bluff to my sisters. I don't know who touched my stuff. I'm playing Sherlock Holmes, like fingerprints. Aha! I'm sorry, don't tell mom and dad, whatever. So it's just like they do the CSI and Miami. Really, you think they're out there, spending that much? Heck, they wouldn't even spend as much time as they do on an episode on anybody's stuff. You know what I mean? Unless it was somebody was caught smoking marijuana or something like that, and they wanted to seize her out. So I mean, it's just so much BS. My goal is we are going to what? I am going to inspire Generation Next to be of the mindset that they can invent whatever they want with original discovery. That you can learn from firsthand experience how things work, how chemicals go. Electronics, all kinds of. I remember when I was a kid, I didn't know crap, and I'm building electronics from Radio Shack, doing a little radio crap, That's all gone. And if anybody does it, what happens? Oh, that's a special kid. We got a place for him, okay? Oh my goodness, he made it went bang or boom or something. Hell, if you're a 13-year-old boy and you haven't made something go bang yet, you got other issues. Seriously. They've beaten that out of us. So I'm going, all right, gas tanks. Argon, helium, carbon dioxide. I have 4 tanks, really, but, that look better. So you have carbon source, and it goes into, these right here are flow meters at hospitals. You see where they do the oxygen, little ball goes up and down. Those are the only meters that I could regulate at a low level that I needed. So I took, but they don't fit. The fixtures don't go, so I got to go to Ace Hardware 5 billion times. And Ace Hardware, man, they'll nail you. Little brass connections, $7. Are you freaking kidding me? What are these, made in America or something? Anyway, so I go, which they're not, by the way, So you get that flow meters and it goes into this regulator in here. This right here is about that size, and it is just like a toaster. And it has a glass tube that goes in there made of quartz glass that it just gets really hot, up to 1,800, 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit. So I go up to 1,100 degrees Celsius, whatever that winds up being. And that, it's hot, okay? So I put samples inside here, and I close it all, and let it go, and I program it, how long, at what temperatures, and different things. So, and I get to play mad scientist. So what do? Because we're going to be doing videos and YouTubes and documenting this, which is going to start probably week after the next. I got so much stuff to do, and that's when we're going to start documenting this. I get this Einstein wig, right? Looks more like David Bowie, all right? Big lab coat, glasses, regulator, all this kind of stuff. So it's going to be entertaining. We're going to watch it. We're going to have fun. But it really is an inspiration for it. Why do I do that? Because I can. But the thing is, now you see this poster. Norman Rockwell did this poster for Popular Science. He's holding a perpetual motion machine on his workbench and so on. American ingenuity. That was done in October 1920. What the attitude was back then doesn't exist in our culture. That needs to change. It's not about me making the greatest, most wonderful battery that's going to save the planet, which might happen, by the way. That's not the point. The point is that we need to get back to this. I got a microscope that I got for $140 off Craigslist. That was a, throwaway from Arizona State University Biolab. That's probably, $1,000, $1,200 microscope. I got, for $50, you get this camera, it goes into the eyepiece, it goes into my laptop right here, and I take pictures of all the stuff that I do in microscope and do to be able to share. I can do video, I can do whatever, then different, glassware and blah, blah, blah. This is a rectifier. The only thing in here I don't have is I don't have the robot arm yet, okay? Helped me with soldering like an Iron Man, that's why I did that, that was cool. So, and then I just go back and forth to graphic artists and go, I don't know, she needs,
Illegal test tubes.
nah, whatever. I can do whatever I want, okay? Now, the thing is that this is a rectifier, which is like a glorified battery charger for electroplating stuff on the things. I can get into all the details of how I'm going to make it and do it and everything, but a lot of it, about a third of it changes about every couple of weeks anyway. But the thing is that I'm able to have fun. I'm learning. I'm doing it myself, okay? There's the tanks, it goes into the whatever, there's the camera and the lights, to start documenting it. That's how I did the setup there for the gas flow, be able to control it. That's after I took the end off, yada, yada, yada. Did I make some carbon? Oh, yeah, baby, I got that catalyst work. Now, and to make a cell, this is what they call ceramic posts for putting in kilns to cure glazed pottery and so on, so they can do standards. When I put these in like this, and they're totally non-conductive, nothing, no flow of electrons, nothing, I put it in, put the carbon on it, that turns black, and it's conductive. Imagine I take this, I make it wire around, and then kinds of wire. Then I bake it again, put more carbon on it. Now, hopefully nanotubes. I'm getting to that point. That's where I'm processing about. That's why I got to do all this chemistry stuff, is to be able to make the catalyst, be able to start the growth of the nanotubes that they won't let me have. I get to make myself. I buy a whole bunch of glassware. It looks like a freaking mad scientist place. And here comes the BATF. See my point? So I talk to Al, and I said, I just want you to know. He goes, look, who you really need to be talking to is the FBI. Ask for the duty agent. Okay. Mr. Duty Agent, sir, in your name? Oh, we just give duty agent. Okay, all right, fine. Of course, he knows who you are. You're calling the FBI. I guarantee they know who you are. So I go, look, go to your webpage. I want to show you something. I take him to the battery project. I said, here's the cover of the magazine. I go, you see this? This is what I'm doing. This is why I'm doing it. I'm ordering a bunch of stuff. I don't want my dog killed. So, if they're on the list, mom, okay? Oh, no, you don't have to worry. If you're not doing anything illegal, we would call you first. Yeah. Seriously, that's what he said. So I go like this. I go, look, just kind of cut this short. I operate a news website. And I'm a talk show host. I do stories every day if they didn't get called first, okay? So don't even start with me. No. If you're not doing anything illegal, don't worry about it. Right. I'm going to tell you something and a lot of people don't know. Well, they know after I keep telling everybody. We went last summer for Mark Victor. He toured the Caribbean and did go Grand Cayman on the beach, and he gets married, and it's all great and wonderful. One of his best friends that he has, a guy named David Lumberg. Dave, how they became friends is he shared a foxhole during Gulf War I. Okay, Desert Storm, Desert Shield, whatever. He's in Iraq and Kuwait. He's Marine, Garden or whatever, and had their group of and he's in dugout for months and months and months, living in a trench. But I just joined for the education and National Guard. Well, that didn't work out. But anyway, so he's down in the ditch. Who's he with? This other guy. They get out of the Marines. Mark goes off to law school. He goes into law enforcement. He's around. Now, let me tell you this little story that I found out. Many of you know who Jack McLam is. He just had to release online free PDF of Vampire Killer 2012. Okay? In the 90s, he had Vampire Killer 2000. And his whole point, he had a newsletter from the 80s to the 90s that went out to police and military against the New World Order. His advocacy was that the police and the military were going to be the tip of the spear in the enforcement of the New World Order, de la, whatever it was. And he goes, I see it coming. He was the original officer friendly. That started here in Phoenix with him. He goes South Phoenix, he do officer friendly, I'm Mr. Friendly, Constitution friendly. Well, they don't want you to be constitutional. They want you to do whatever the hell they tell you. Okay? Well, he had this database and they wanted it. He refused to give it to them. So what they do? You're fired. Challenges it, gets rehired. You'll give it to us now? No, fired. He got hired and fired, I don't know, a bunch of times. Okay? Then he retires. He has his badge. He goes to the gun show, in his magazine and so on. He's kind of whatever, and the man doesn't like him. They want him arrested. Impersonating an officer. Most highly decorated Phoenix policeman, Jack Lamb, very well known, lives in Idaho now. He was a big supporter of Bo Wright when he ran for president in '92. Lives up there on the Lone Prairie, whatever, doing a radio show too. He's failing health, diabetes, so on. He'll probably be around a whole lot longer. So Jack's been on my show. We had multiple series, part 5, 6, telling his story and everything. So I got the whole spiel on the internet. But the thing is that they had to have some officer at the gun show go and arrest him. We need somebody to arrest him. Dave's right out of the Marines, man. He's like, yeah, man, I follow orders. What do you want me to do? Yes, yeah, you're arrested and we're going whatever. He goes, I remember that guy. I'm the one that arrested him. I go, ooh, there's a badge for you, Put a little stripe on. But I give, he was young, he's out of the military, he didn't know anything. So that kind of qualified him to what? All of a sudden, he's a head liaison sergeant between the Phoenix Police Department and the Fusion Center. Now he's at the FBI as a representative from Phoenix Police. So I call him, message, give me a call. Dave calls me and I get these zeros, phone number kind of thing. So I know, so you got your own little, whatever. So I go, Dave, so down at the FBI now, he goes, oh yeah, man, we're all one big happy family. So he knows I knew exactly what that meant. Oh, we're just one big happy family, don't worry about it. So I go, well, let me tell you what I'd like your family not to do to mine, okay? So I explained to him and showed him all the stuff and everything, and I said, so you can see why I might be concerned. He goes, don't worry about it. I'll check the sheet and list and everything and make sure that, you're not on the, helicopter, whatever. I go, oh, there's a list. So I haven't heard from him yet, so we'll find out what happens. But while I'm talking to him, I got him on speaker on my phone. One of these young kids is over. So he's like going, wow, he's talking to the police, he's talking to the FBI, he's talking to the future, and he goes, you always, I go, hell, how do you think I stay out of jail, man? They know what's coming, they don't get surprised, they don't do something stupid. We walk outside to get him a bunch of these flyers for him to take in his car and go start putting up. 3 enormous CH-64, whatever the heck they are, helicopters, the Marine big helicopters, fly 200 feet above my house going right over. And the kid looks at me and he's like, and I go, every day. This is welcome to my life, They'll be over your house tomorrow. So, and Pal, he's like, he lives down there by National Guard thing, so they're flying over his house all the time, So it was good timing. So you see, that while this is going on, it was good that we had the magazine coming out, the cover, the justification for, well, as long as you got a good reason, that kind of thing. Well, I don't want you to find out, what my good reason is when I got an AR barrel on my forehead, okay? So this is a picture of the structure of the ceramic, before it gets anything on it. Then I'll, carbonize it. This is what it looks like with the carbon. Now it's conductive. And it's way more porous. I get more surface area. You electroplate onto it. You do whatever. That's kind of my, this whole laptop and my microscope set up. And then that's what, where I got all the chemicals. And I'm not showing a bunch of the glassware or in boxes and so on. And this is like, a heated plate that has that little magnet stirrer in there because I'm dissolving nickel and hydrochloric acid. And we found out what I need. I need a hood. So I got one that's a washout screen thing that I do that I'm building over here that I dent out. And scales and good gizmos and gadgets. So as I do this, I'm going to be sharing with everybody what's going on. And then I talked about, I dealt with the police. Now, in amongst all of this, there are a lot of other things that we cover. Let me tell you what's going on. When you subscribe now, we wanted to be able to get off of the man's money, okay? This has always been a big deal, and we prefer to have precious metals. Let's deal with the precious metal thing. When you subscribe to the magazine, get access to that, you have several ways of doing it. The big thing is you give me 50 Federal Reserve notes, $50, and you get a year's access to the site. Or you give me 1 ounce of silver. Well, when it's $26, that's like a 50% cut. They go, wow, you know, but what if I don't have silver? It's $50. But it's only 20, can I just send you to it? No. You give me $50, you give me 1 ounce of silver. One or the other. So either they give me the $50 or they got to go buy silver. One or the other. Every now and then, once, twice a week, I'll get in the mail, you know, just a, you know, all of a sudden there'll be a card in there, how they want to be registered, and silver. That's it. All right, cool. Now what happens is, the other option, you go PayPal, do credit card, and whatever. We wanted to be able to do a new thing called Bitcoin. Let me tell you what Bitcoin is. When I go through Bitcoin is, do you understand Bitcoin? Do you know how to explain it, or?
Not anymore than you do.
All right, this is what happened. How much time we got? In the mid-90s, there was, when the internet was first getting going, there was a guy in Oregon State that came up with an idea called assassination politics. Any of you guys ever remember that?
Yeah. Not for him. Not for him, but
Yeah. The point that he was making is that with encryption technology and email, you could, I'm not even sure how it worked, but basically you could put in bets. So when the money got up to enough for some politician to die, you know, you're betting on when he's going to die. You get to a certain point, he goes, you know what? I can bet, I bet he's going to die tomorrow morning at 7:36 a.m. is what I think. Okay?
essentially it was the futures market.
Yeah, it was like, and then he would get paid off anonymously.
No, seriously, that's what it was.
What the hell?
So when he did this, not only was it popular, it was possible.
Yes, it was.
Oh, and the man said, hell no.
Yeah. Oh, they said two things. They said, that's a great idea, we're going to use it, and by the way, Guantanamo. It was nice this time. This is long before Guantanamo, but they basically,
They have
he was facing years in prison.
just for coming up with the idea.
Yeah, for essentially threatening, whatever politician they wanted to.
It was a blog post or something, or whatever it was back in the day. An email. Hell, they didn't have web pages.
Yeah, I don't think it was before the internet.
So what happened was, it was like 94 or something like that. So when they did that, all of a sudden it started getting people thinking. Like, whoa, this encryption can be used in a lot of creative ways. You fast forward 15, 20 years, and all of a sudden you got young guys going, you know what? We can create an algorithm, a mathematical equation, that blah, 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 that we can create our own currency, that you can trade anonymously. It's like ones and zeros, it's encrypted, and nobody knows de la whatever it is, and it's all electronic. Everything's electronic anyway. So what we're going to do is we're going to create our own currency that's brought into existence at a slow rate to a maximum of 21. It can never be any more. Okay? But what happens is, how are they created? Well, by processing power, electricity, to process all of the transactions. The more that you do the processing, you get paid in bitcoins for the use of your electricity. Okay? So I knew a bunch of people, they're buying server rooms full of servers. They're just going, we're going to get rich on bitcoins. Okay? Well, some of them did. So what they did, all of a sudden, a bitcoin that I remember started just a couple years ago, and it was like, under $1. Each one is now over $12. A few months ago, they set me up, I'm doing a radio show, and I get a Bitcoin, I set up the account, it was $4 or something. I go now, all of a sudden hits 4 magazines, The Economist, Chucky Schumer's up there saying, we gotta do something about Bitcoin, I hate Bitcoin. I go, well, I want some, okay? So I go, that was the best endorsement I ever heard. So what happened is they had a thing called Silk Road. Silk Road is like a Craigslist on the internet that's encrypted. When you have an encrypted, nobody knows what the hell you're doing, and you're selling and buying stuff with somebody like Craigslist, and you have encrypted money that nobody knows who got what, when, where, all of a sudden, on the internet, you can do what? Drug deals. They're buying and selling meth and heroin and LSD and marijuana, you know, on the internet. And Chucky Schumer's going, oh, hell no. That's our job, okay? They're competing. So all of a sudden, Bitcoin starts to get, important. So what do? We go ahead and we create a web magazine that was, I'll show you the cover. I told all these guys, I go, look, I need to understand how this works, okay? I need to know how this, where, that was our first cover, this one, the power, what now, activist, conspiracy, environmentalism, that one. How in the heck is it that people are able to use the internet to do download pirated movies and software and do, I'm paying $2,600 to Adobe for my blah, blah, blah. And they go, oh yeah, we can help you with that. I'll be by tomorrow. And they downloaded it the night before and came in and showed me how to do it. I go, oh, you son of a bitch, okay? I would never do that, because that'd be bad. Like Pal, man, he's like, nope, don't do pirated software. Of course he does Linux, but you know. So I go, okay. I could see that they could make any transaction with these units called Bitcoins and there be no record of the transaction. It was like handing dollars. To the point that they did this. Is a bill that has a site that you click it and it goes to where you can open up your own Bitcoin account. Then, once you get an account, you blip this one and you download money. What happened was, you can take and make it, in Bitcoins you can do it, doesn't have to be $12, it's 0.1, it's 0.01, it's 0.0000001. It doesn't matter how many decimals you use. You can have went from nothing to $1 million per Bitcoin. They don't care. You just move the decimal. And what's the value of it? It's easily transferable and it's anonymous. What's the value of the U.S. dollar? I don't know, the paper. Okay, because they just keep printing more. It's going to go. And when it does, what happened? They do QE infinity, and what happened? Gold and silver. Last time, what was it? $26, $27. What's it now? 35.
34 something.
It broke 35 yesterday.
Yes.
Yeah, it went back down.
33.99 today.
So the thing is that at $35, I think each one of those dimes, the dime cards, are $2.50 now. They were $1.86 when we first started making those. So we got silver. We're trading silver, doing the dime card thing. We get the silver thing. I like having some silver. That's good money. That's good store of wealth. That's where I put my goodies. I got it's mine. Okay? But as a currency, it's not the best currency. To be able to do transactions on the internet, you can't be sending silver unless you're sending it to me in an envelope, and then 4 or 5 days later you get access to the magazine. So silver is good as a storage and some trade. We do that a lot. But for currency transactions, you need something that's immediate, fast, and anonymous. So what we do is each one of these has a value. And we take them and go, all right, well, how are we going to do this? So we're going to Libertopia this next year. Let's put an expiration date on this. This is only good until March. If you don't claim this, I go in and claim all of them every 90 days that I put out. If you do, what do? It could be a penny, a dime, a dollar. I put whatever denomination I want of Bitcoins on this, and I just start handing them out. It's a dollar bill. It's money. Go claim it. Boom. Goes into your account. This is how we're going to be promoting this. It's just like the dime cards. It's a business card that people don't throw away. It has value. If they don't redeem it, I don't lose it. I just go in and reclaim it back into my account. The only understanding you have to have of this Bitcoin thing is this. It's not going away. End of story. Blah, 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 blah. It's not going away. I guarantee you that. So what happens? When the dollar goes to crap, two things are going to happen. Silver are going to do this, and Bitcoin's going to go right along with it. But we had to close a loophole. If I can't transfer my Bitcoins into cash, you can't always count on somebody taking Bitcoins. All right? So what do? I take it, I go, all right, I need a company. We have them on, and they were one of the authors that were in this magazine last April and so on. Eric Voorhees, we met at Pork Fest. He's young geek guy. The geek guys, they always talk about the just button. Okay? Well, you just. I'm like, I'm looking for the just button. I don't see the just button. Where's that just button? Okay? So they're always talking about, you just this, which means about 14 strokes to them, okay? So what happened is they're getting it simpler and simpler and simpler to where now they have it called Bit Instant. I go onto the internet and I go on and I say, okay, I want to credit my account with cash. How do I do that? Where do I go buy these Bitcoins? I click on this, I do this, and they go, okay, here's your thing to put $200 in your account. It's $201.32. You take this printout, nearest bank, Bank of America down the street from us. I walk into the bank, I handed them this paper, I gave them $201.32, didn't ask me for my name, didn't want any ID, didn't care, it was like paying an electric bill or something. They go, you got an account, where does it go? Okay, there, and he typed it in, no charge for the service. The $1.32 went to somebody else for processing it. So I was able to take my cash, Federal Reserve notes, convert them into Bitcoin, and all of a sudden on my phone it went bleep, and there they were. Oh, that's good. But that's not good enough. I want to be able to spend them. I want to be able to convert them into silver. Liberty, precious metal coin and precious metals down here on Scottsdale and Shea, okay? They go, yeah, we'll try with this. The owner, Richard, I've been talking to him, like, I got a Uber geek computer guy, Gabriel here. We'll hook it up, right? So they open up the account and they do it. Well, we did another one called BitPay because it's faster. We had to wait like 10, 15 minutes or something. And I'm like, no, hell no. I ain't giving you my Bitcoin and sitting there on the other side of the wall looking at my silver. I want to rat freaking not later, okay? So we found another service to do it faster. So the point is that I go in and I say, he had a QR code comes up, just like you see on the bottom of these flyers. He has a screen. They have a screen that faces out, one faces in. Gabriel sat there and went bleep, 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 bleep. Oh, there it is. I went up to the screen, go bleep like that. Send him the Bitcoins, done. $100 worth of silver, give me. Cash to Bitcoin, Bitcoin to silver. And of course, silver I can go back to cash. The loop has been closed. They use a service that to be able to do this cash to Bitcoin, Bitcoin to cash, that I can do it at Bank of America, Wells Fargo, Walmart, CVS Pharmacy, 7-Eleven, MoneyGram. Okay? It's so freaking over.
Can the Bitcoin, the value of the Bitcoin get
Constantly, every day, just like silver. And when the dollar goes down, it's shooting up. A few months ago, it was $4 and something. Now they're $12.66 or something.
PayPal also?
What do you mean? PayPal's another payment system.
Right, you can transfer Bitcoin, money to Bitcoin through PayPal?
You don't need to. You're bypassing that.
What controls the value of the Bitcoin?
You do. It's like silver. Buy, sell. I got a Bitcoin. What do you want to pay for it? And whatever you pay for it, you know what this Bitcoin's worth? Whatever you'll pay for it. Just like
Americans know what that counts.
they don't care.
How do they even get in contact with it? How does
Because it's a wire transfer.
Oh, yeah.
It goes to a service called True Cash or some crap like that, and they do the
They
processing.
don't know where that's
They don't know.
Right.
Well, they do know. I don't give a crap. Well, they don't know who I am.
What if there's a currency reform or change and we all use the Amero or something? What happens then?
Bitcoin is worth whatever somebody will take in payment for it. It can be converted into silver. It can be converted like our silver calculator. Bitcoin will go up there and it's kind of, whatever it is. It's converted into euros, they're using this worldwide. It doesn't matter.
Is there any place where, like gold and silver, we can see what the spot price is for it? Can we see what, at any
Yes.
time, what the spot price of a
Gazillion
Bitcoin
places.
is?
Yeah.
Furthering on that, what if the government says, okay, you can only use American...
They do. It's called legal tender laws. They have to stop them.
Yeah.
All payments, public and private must be blah, 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 blah. The people just don't care. Because there's it may not be enforced by the U.S. court system. Hey, he stole my Bitcoins. Hey, we don't recognize Bitcoins. That's pretty much what happens. But the thing is that it's being done already for, I don't know, at least over a year that I know of. It's done. It's happening. It's now. They close the loop from cash to Bitcoin, Bitcoin to cash, Bitcoin to silver, silver to cash, silver. I don't know if we got silver to Bitcoin. When I get to the point where I go and I give them silver and I want to pay them Bitcoin, I think they'd probably do that. We haven't even tried that. Yeah.
So what laws does it fall under? The EFT laws?
It's the law of freaking I can do it. Seriously, you guys got to get that out of your head. You know, this is it. Yeah, but, well, golly gee, Chucky Schumer doesn't like it. Should I be able to do it? He doesn't like it. I mean, you guys are missing the point. This is what I'm talking about with the original discovery in science and stuff. We have been conditioned, and the next generation has been conditioned, that you need a permit. That which is not required is forbidden. You know, you got a permit for that? I went through this. Remember during the Levolution was started in 07, I'm going around the country. It'd be a meeting just like this with 5 or 6 young guys in the corner over there. I go, who are the sign makers? And the guys in the corner, well, we came here to make signs. Are you making signs? I thought you were going to make signs. I saw on YouTube make signs. You guys aren't making signs? What the hell are you doing? Having a meeting? Okay? So I go, I'll get to you later. Don't worry about it. We go up next day and we go put up a bunch of signs. The other people, they go, you know, but you got to get a permit. You know, you got to get permission from the man to give a finger to the man. That's what this is about. How inspiring is this to some people? Oh my God, somebody actually put that on my freaking trash can? So what's the real impact on this? Pissing people off? Educating them? Yeah, that's always Benny, okay? It is to inspire people to stop being afraid. That is the power. So all of this is just part of what we've just been doing in the last month. What have you been doing? You get it? So all you're whining, yeah, but what about and didn't, how kind of stuff. All you guys are doing is just being a neon flashing example of what's wrong up here. Your default is no. Your default is not yes. Your default is ask permission. Your default is not, I get to do whatever I want and pursue my own happiness and don't have to get permission to as long as I'm not bothering anybody else. Your default is, what will people think, as instead will people be inspired to do. It's a total way, I think, they have been successful in jacking us up. And I'm telling you, next generation, generation next, they don't think this way anymore. They are on the internet, man. They're the free flow of ideas and possibilities. It's exploding, and you don't see it. But I do. I'm going to surf that wave. I've been waiting for this my whole adult life. I knew this was going to happen. There's never a doubt in my mind. So you go, ooh, Ernie, look what you did. No, look what wave I rode. It's not the same thing. Did you have a question, sir? Okay. Gabriel was worried that he'd have too much time. That's not a problem anymore. So, real quick.
The Bitcoin, I like what you're saying. I really like it. Is it an American-created concept? Or?
Who gives a shit?
I'm just curious.
Yes.
Thank you.
No, I got to edit it.
Probably. The Chinese agent. I don't give a crap, you know? You know, so the thing, you have to understand, whenever you create a roadblock, let me tell you what the result is of all this drug war stuff. You'll suppress stuff for a while. And they have taken to where, you know, seriously, I needed calcium carbonate as part of one of the things that I need. I just need some calcium carbonate. The closest I could get was some kind of calcium carbonate that was mixed up with magnesium, blah, 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 at the CNC health food store or something. I couldn't get pure calcium carbonate. So how do I get pure calcium carbonate? I go out to my chickens and break and crush their eggs. It's eggshells. It's seashells. I didn't know that. I know it now. So what happens when you start going in? I'm going, man, I need to dissolve this and be able to whatever, yada, yada. I go to the pool store and get hydrochloric acid. Sulfuric acid for this. A breakdown of that. I said, you know what they did? They made me learn this crap. And where do I get it? I go on YouTube, man. I go, how do you make it? He goes, and there's some old guy never shows his face, okay? And some guys even have their voice go, damn somebody, okay? You crush this, you do that, you add here, you stir here, you get, you know, boom, there you got the stuff that you're not supposed to have. It's over, man. So what did they accomplish? They created alternatives. Instead of us being in a free society where people that do bad things and so on, if you really cared, you can go find them and they return in, whatever, you know? They suppressed everything so much that there's no innovation, there's no real original discovery, there's no 13-year-olds out blowing up shit, okay? You know, is that some benefit to us? Yay, we don't have 13-year-olds blowing up. But then you don't have 13-year-olds blowing up stuff and learning something. Might be minus a few fingers. But you know, the thing is that we have a society that's free. You have an enormous innovation, invention, and stuff that America was known for. American ingenuity has now been replaced with a collective of scientists that service in the name of the king. And I'm telling you, we cannot survive in that world. We sure shit can't compete. So my goal is to change that. As I did it with, you know, the stop asking permission crowd, you know, that I don't peek in the eye and just go put a sign up and bite me, okay? Was I successful? Yes, I was. It was going to happen anyway, sooner or later. Was I successful in the advancement and understanding of silver as money? Silver conversion, junk silver, the Libertopian with the money lith next week, and we're going to have big woohoo and put up the money dome and, you know, keep pushing that. But that's just going to be a segue. I give a presentation, you know, one morning there, and I'm going to be talking about my lab. I'm going, oh yeah, you guys want to be free? We're just going to build it. Seasteading, moving out on the ocean. Okay, they're going, well, where are we going to manufacture and how do I go? I'm not 12 miles out. I may have to have a nuclear submarine after me, but I mean, you can go do it. What are they doing? Seasteading, they're actually building this on an oil derrick. It's going to pull out in international waters. We're free. How about y'all? Google's taking the idea, big giant cruise. Hell, the ocean helps them cool their servers. They're going out in international waters, and it's only 12 miles. You know how long it takes to commute in San Francisco or L.A.? Hell, I'll live in L.A. and commute on a boat out there. Or I'll live out there and go shopping in L.A. It's 12 miles. On an 80-mile-an-hour speedboat, I'm good. Oh, and 3D printing. One more thing. Monday, this guy named Cody Wilson, New York Times, is coming out with an article online tomorrow. Monday, it's going to be in print. I tried to hook him up with Jim Sharp. That's what I was talking to him about. He's going to probably interview him Monday morning. This is what's going on. He came up with the idea called WikiWeapon. He goes, you know what? With 3D printing, it's like you have a 3D printer and it does plastic and lasers, and it's like a Star Trek replicator. You know, this has been, you guys won't even believe, I got to show you this. You know, we go late, life sucks. Okay. You are not going to freaking believe this. 3D printing bearings.
Didn't they come in and take his printer out?
Yeah, but I'll tell you the rest of
He's printing another one.
Yeah, there's a company that's selling 3D printers that the printer prints its own parts. It's self-replicating robots.
Holy cow.
I think it's like 15,000.
What I want to do
Price going down.
is I'm going to show you just at the end here what this thing does. It's a printer, a laser that prints just like you're printing on paper, but then what happens is it raises it. It started with nothing, and it printed this. Now watch what he does. The bearings move inside the race. Printed that. So what does this guy do? He goes, you know what? I can print a gun. TD gun. I bet it blows up all over the place. Forbes magazine, New York Times, Economist, Wired magazine, on and on and on and on and on. So what happens? He comes out, he says, you know, I'm going to print a gun. It'd take time to load it up and everything. And it's called WikiWeapon. He comes on my radio show, he says, I need to raise an Indiegogo, it's like a Kickstarter, it's a fundraising thing online. Because I need to raise $20,000 to take and buy, you know, or rent, you know, the 3D printer to do the prototype and the whatever. All you need is a CNC file. You know, the file that would, you know, tell it how to print. So he goes, I'm now working on this. Boom, money starts flooding in. All of a sudden, the provider of this service said, "Oh no, we're banning. No, hell no, we ain't getting involved in this one." Okay. That goes to planetary. We have him on the show again. Back from the Netherlands or something, and said, "You know what? I'll double contributions up to 20,000. Boom, now he's got $40,000 like that." And he goes, "Mwah." Okay? He's a law student in Austin, Texas. So he's the law student, he's a graduate student in law school. He's kind of knowing, yeah, they'll get you one way or another. Is it, because the law is you can make your own gun in your own home for you. You can do that now.
Sure can.
But they don't like this, so what do? They're going to be going like, I think, because it can't be metal detected, it's plastic, all that kind of stuff, you fall under or whatever. So all of a sudden, the company that makes the machine that he leased, all of a sudden, we want our printer back. What's going on? It wasn't because they didn't want him to do this or get in trouble. What we found out is that company had been selling the printer to other gun manufacturers. It was a competition thing. ATF. It's not like it was a big secret anyway. So he goes into the BATF office in Austin, Texas, and he says, "Hey man, I need to know, is this a class 1, class 2? Is this what's going on here?" And they go, "Cody Wilson? Oh, we're going to come visit you today. Come on in the back room. We got a rubber hose waiting on you." Okay? So they go back there and talk to him and everything, and they go, "Oh, this is kind of cool. Yeah, this is cool. I like this. Neat idea. Cool. All right, peace. You don't got to worry about whatever." I guarantee you, same thing that I go through. There will be somebody, will send them a memo, go kick somebody's ass. They'll go in with their hut SWAT team or whatever, and that's what will happen. So he kind of hopefully got that, out here. So what happens when he goes on his 12 miles off the coast barge? You see my point? But that's not even the point. He was just showing that you can do it. These 3D printers are down around $2,000 to $3,000. Hell, I paid that much for that tube furnace. So I'm going, for $2,000, I can replicate whatever I want, including the printer. Are you starting to get it? There is no stopping the future. You can print your own guns. That's what's going on. Out of plastic. No, a hardened. Hell, even the barrel might be able to work a couple of times. How many times do I need it to work? So I get your gun. It's called the butter knife brigade, man.
That's a better way of putting it.
All right, Gabriel, come on up. During all of this, he'll get to say what he wants to say.
A few times.
During all of this, here you have the representative of Generation Next, right? You're what, 30 something about? Here's one of these guys that I'm talking about. He's what, 25? Just out of, undergraduate school, doing whatever. He goes, didn't you go to law school or something? Here's a guy educated, gets Austrian economized. He's one of those guys in the corner, yeah, Ron Paul, putting up signs, doing all that kind of stuff, and everything becomes the next generation. And decide he's an economist teacher. He goes to a charter school, he's teaching economics, the sophomores or something like that. He's good. All of a sudden, then what? He's getting, I see the light. I want to work precious metals and see an economy going in the future is. So now he's working up here at Liberty and been helping us, close this loop on there, the owner there, to make sure that we can get into the future. I take a flag and I stake it way out in the future and I go, waiting on you now, because you're coming. And I'm ready, waiting on you. And so is Liberty Coin Precious Metals. Gabriel Mueller.
I can't really follow Ernie at all. He's got so much energy and he's got such rapport. I can't really follow that at all. I'm amazed by these 3D printers. They can't print gold or silver, so I've got one advantage in that regard. People will still come to us to purchase gold and silver. There's nothing exciting about me other than I'm just like you. I care about liberty, I care about fighting for liberty, so to speak, and I care about preserving my wealth by holding on to gold and silver. And I write articles also for some financial websites, and I found Liberty Coin Precious Metals in Scottsdale, and they were looking for some help, and so I simply contacted them and said, hey, I'm an economics teacher, I write articles for gold and silver, some gold and silver magazines and gold and silver websites. I said, do you need some extra help? And they said yes. Came on board, found out that there's just a bunch of libertarians that started a gold and silver business, so it was It was, we were family right off the bat, and Ernie, if you could bring up the website, thanks. I don't want to come across as a salesperson. I just like talking about gold and silver because I think there's value in it. No pun intended. I think there's importance in it, and I think I was buying gold and silver before from Atmex and Scottsdale Silver. Maybe some of you are familiar with those websites, and I had no problem with them. I thought I got great products from them and a great service. But what I've learned in this industry, that is the gold and silver industry, that a lot of people have been burned by purchasing numismatic coins. That is, brokers have said, oh, you need to buy these rare coins, they're better than the bullion. And I had never had that experience, but we are finding a lot of our clients and customers come to our store and they have been sold just, just terrible, terrible coins. And so the owners of this website, and I'll wrap it up, this is all I want to say, the owners of this website said, we don't want to do that. We want to have a very transparent and honest business. And so could you click on like gold or silver, one of those tabs? So we on the website, the owners, Mark and Richard, they are the brain trust of this, and they receive all credit for this. It's not me, it's them. They said, we're going to show what we're selling the coins for and what we're buying it for, and that's it. And we don't like to deal with numismatics because we're not numismatics experts by any stretch of the imagination, and we don't want to rip anyone off. And what we're finding out, so customers are coming to us and they're saying, gosh, I paid $2,500 for this coin, and it has no numismatic value at all. That is American Eagle. And so this business, at least, or this company, Liberty Coin and Precious Metals, is just trying to run an honest business and provide a good product and a good service to people. So that's it. We're in Scottsdale, and we'd love to see you. That's it, sir.
The 1 ounce gold and 1 ounce silver Liberty, how much over spot? Do you have a fixed number over spot, or is it?
Good question. It depends. So we were selling American Silver Eagles for $290 over spot, but if you bought over 500, we'd sell them for $260. That's a monster box, if anyone knows.
And how about the 1 ounce gold Liberty?
Those are about $75 over spot. Sir.
What about the old silver dollars from like Wild West days? I know those are considered numismatic or collectors. Do you buy what?
I'm sorry, I interrupted you. Keep going.
Did you buy those, or did you? I was just curious. Did you really business with those?
Yeah.
Are you talking about Morgans?
Yeah, like Morgans.
B-Stars? Ernie, do you mind going down? We buy those? Yeah. We don't pay numismatic value for it. They're 90% silver, so that's all we buy them for. Keep going down, sir. All the way to the bottom, please. They're right there. Morgans and peace dollars. So I'll buy a Morgan from you for $26.68. Markets are closed, so they're not moving, right? But when the market moves,
It's all bullion price, numismatic, blah, blah, blah.
right. No, sir.
Do you buy the other metals, or just strictly gold and silver? Do you?
Oh yeah, no, we do have platinum and palladium. I'm not knowledgeable enough to advise you on what to do there. I follow the gold and silver markets, but we do have a gentleman. He's from South Africa. His name is O'Share. He's straight business. He knows a lot about these metals, and so if we have customers that come in and have questions, I'll refer to O'Share and Del Mar. Sir.
As far as I know, there's one platinum coin. There's American Eagle Platinum.
Yeah.
But palladium, rhodium, those other things, are those ever coins that will just rounds, or they maybe just be ingots, whatever you want.
Yeah, the difference is in the industry, you call something a coin if it's minted by a government agency. You call it a round if it's minted by a private mint, even though they're both coins, so to speak. But we say coins if they're a public mint. Excuse me, a government mint. It's a round if it's a we sell rounds and coins, but you mostly see coins when it comes to platinum or palladium because there's not a lot of private mints out there. Well, I take that back. They do make ingots, but they don't make coins. So, sir.
So where's your Bitcoin buy click on button?
This is all.
No, we just started. I think we just did it.
Last week.
Yeah, I mean, we just did it. We just tested it. The fact, it's that they're willing to even do this. All right, real quick, John wanted to say something. Michael needs a few minutes.
And the Bitcoin, is there under?
Just south of Shea on Scottsdale Road.
Gabriel, the Bitcoin thing, or is there a limit? Like 10,000, I gotta tell the government something or something?
Yeah, if you come in with $10,000 in cash, I have to fill out a
And the
form.
same with the Bitcoin, it's gonna be the same?
Because they're taking it and directly converting it to cash. See, that is the point that we were testing.
So-
They take bitcoins, can they convert? Yeah, because they got to account for it somehow. The government wants them paying taxes. They got a location.
So we
you
still
know?
have the $10,000.
Yeah. No, that's it. You know, treat it like cash when you're dealing with somebody else. But between us, doesn't mean anything.
I've never dealt with bought coins before. I looked at it as a collector as a kid. How do I get started? And what units do you sell them in? Do I just go in and just buy a whole bunch of coins? Or, I mean, do you have any suggestions?
You take all the money you have, and give it to him, and he gives you the value in silver and gold, and you do it before it's triple digits instead of double. Okay? Bottom line. Yeah, Pat.
Sir, you mentioned earlier that you teach economics. I was just curious, where do you teach economics, and what is your background in economics?
My background's law. I'm self-taught when it came to economics. I got interested in economics when I was in law school for two reasons. It was during the financial crisis, 2007 to 2008 financial crisis, and I was reading the news, and I don't know about economics at all, but I'm thinking, no one can explain what's going on here. All of these financial pundits or financial spokesperson, they're trying to explain what's going on and no one could. Then I stumbled upon the Austrian school, Mises School. So I started reading persons like Mises and Rothbard and Hayek and Jobs and
Understand. And where do you teach?
And so I just read these authors, these great minds, and they explained economics to me, the human action side to it.
And where do you teach economics?
And I was teaching, I'm not currently teaching right now, I'm full-time at Liberty Coin, but I was teaching at Scottsdale Preparatory Academy, it's a charter school with great arts, which was a fantastic school because we taught, I was able to read Aristotle with young minds, and kids could learn Aristotle, and they learned Nicomachean Ethics. I was able to read Socrates with them. Those are authors that have influenced my life, and so to me, I don't know if anyone's familiar with this, but Murray Rothbard said, we're never going to win people to libertarianism through politics. We have to win them through education. Okay. So that's what I want to do. I want to be a full-time teacher at some point, because to me that's the change. Thank you.
Okay, I want to show you something. He brought up the law by Frederick Bastiat.
Yes.
This Cody Wilson, the 3D printer guy, you know, he's all libertarianized. He gets it. So what happened was the Guardian in the United Kingdom did a big article on him, and this is Dean's article, Chip Saunders, you know, and it's on all the innovation and invention from the bench and making firearms. This is the movie, what was it? It was Carbine Williams. Jimmy Stewart played it. You know, from prison he developed M1 carbine, you know, for World War II, you know. And so that was an interesting movie. I remember that. So that was I had Donna use that as his main. But here's Cody Wilson in his in the Guardian, United Kingdom. He's holding an AK-47 in the law by Frederick Bastiat. That wasn't lost on a bunch of us. So I'm going, oh, that's what I'm talking about. So this right here, these young guys, he's in law school right now. Him, this is the future. And I just want to backhand all you guys. Those of you that have remember me from the early 90s, I was them. Come to the Breakfast Club, speaking, telling you what's coming. I go, you guys don't get it. You don't get it. It's here now. Neil and I freaking told you so. Are you ready? How's your pension doing? How's your 401ks? How's your retirement? How are your stocks? How's your electric bill? How's your food bill? See my point? We were screaming this, and everybody just make fun of you. Well, now I'm here, and I'm making sure these guys got a conduit to be able to scream this to everybody and save asses, because it's that time now. All about free, how many minds you can free, now it's how many asses you can save, okay? But when it gets really, really bad, which it is going to get really, really, really bad, and when it does, and all my bitcoins go to the moon, and all my silver shoots up like a rocket, and you guys are going, oh, I wish I had, I have absolutely no sympathy for you. Peter Schiff put it well, he goes, you know, there's enough information out there with just pushing a button, you know, that ignorance is now a choice. Michael, go ahead and give your spiel how you're going to save us. Now, Michael Kielsky is running for county attorney against Bill Montgomery, which needs Michael Kielsky running against him. And it's between the Libertarian and the Republican. Okay? So this is going to be interesting.
I like
All right,
the
we just took delivery of a whole bunch of these signs here. You will see them all over town by the end of the weekend, by Monday at the latest.
So you have some smaller yard signs, Michael?
I do, but they're not like this. They're just the handmade ones. I've got a few of those left. And again, we've been having sign making parties. I didn't see you there. And you can go on my website. It's on there, Kielsky.com. You can go on my website and you can download. It's a PDF that prints out on 4 pages. You just slap it on any old yard sign from election from a few years ago, or if you happen to find a Bill Montgomery sign that somebody left in your front yard, you just take that and put my poster over it if you want. I don't know. I have nothing to do with that. You just print it out. You go. You can make your own yard signs. Same thing. I've got the yard signs. Downloadable. You print them out on my website. Look, I mean.
You gotta tell me about this down by the river, man. What is that?
Sorry, which one?
That graphic.
That? I mean, okay. That's a little thing I made. You click on it. Click on that one. And there's
that's from Saturday Night Live. That's Farley, he's a motivational speaker. I live down by the river in the van.
Okay, so the younger generation doesn't get that, but it just every time I see that, it makes me laugh. I made a little JPEG that says, "For the love of God, vote Michael Kielsky for county attorney." and so I mean, I made a few versions like that, but scroll down a little bit and click on image special grids, that first link right there. Right there. And I just made a bunch of different fun ones for people to share. And you can click on that one, make it nice and big if you want. Down by the river one. Or you can Zoidberg, whatever. Again, it's just, just for the fun of it. If you guys never saw the skit on Saturday Night Live, you might get it. If not, it means nothing to you.
It's funnier.
Maybe you guys are too young for that, and then the Zoidberg one might help. The point is, I'm having fun with this, okay? But I can't do it by myself. Early voting starts this week, Thursday. The ballots start going out. Some of you may have already seen ballots on there. I don't know when they actually start mailing them, maybe Monday.
The press will avoid talking about this like the plague until after early voting is out at least a week. So we need to keep doing this and everything just to doink them. Sooner or later, they're going to have to do this.
Well, so, I've been doing what I can for my race, letting people know that there's another choice. Look at the poster there. I mean, look at the, you got the Statue of Liberty, they've got the elephant, they've got the ass, that's fine, they can have it. I have the Statue of Liberty. That's good by me. And then I've got 3 symbols on there. People are like, where is it? What is that? That's life, liberty, property. That's what that is. Life, the peace symbol, right? Because if you have the absence of peace, you don't have as much life. Liberty, that's the leaf there. It's your choice whether you want to use it or not. Just that's your life. And property, that's a house. And it can also mean enjoy your weekend at your house with whatever party favors you have. Whatever you want. The idea is that I'm trying to be. People are telling me you're like the only candidate running for public office that's got a pot leaf on it.
County attorney.
I'm like, okay. It's not that controversial to me. I don't touch this stuff. I don't care about stuff. It's not about the pot. It's about the freedom. Yeah. That's what it's about. Yeah. I don't want to use it, but if you do, you shouldn't be put in a cage.
Yeah. I mean,
I only have here I've got like a couple hundred electronic.
I need 2 for one for me and Barry. We'll go out and be creative.
These are not yard signs. I don't want them for people's yards. I'm going to put these out. The idea is our focus this weekend in putting these signs up is to do one of Ernie's things. I'm going to put them up near various media studios, near the TV stations, near the radio stations, because they keep just ignoring this race. And once they see a few of these, and day after day, eventually they're going to have to say, we're going to have to talk about this. I hope it's not too late. But the idea is, look, I raised the money to get these things printed. You guys want to see more signs like that? Give me some money. I mean, I didn't see, most of you, I didn't see you at the various sign making parties. And we made some 4 foot by 8 foot signs. We made a bunch of yard signs. We did, we've been cranking them out as best as we can by hand. And now we've got a few hundred of these that we're going to put out there. But again, this cost hard cash. I went down there and, put a pile of cash on the counter to pick up these signs yesterday afternoon. So again, if you want more of this out there, help me out. Slip me a 10 or a 20 or $700. I'll take it. Because I want to do a whole other batch of these things. And get on my website and download some of the pictures. Email them to your friends and family, whichever things appeal to you. Let people know that there is a choice. You might not be a libertarian, but look at what you've got in this race. You've got a guy that's I don't know, kind of new version of a religious right, neocon, weird con. Well, I don't quite understand.
Tank commander. He's got mental problems.
Yeah, he's a tank commander. I mean, he tells me there's no such thing as a victimless crime, and he it's on the books. There's a victim. We'll figure it out, but there is a victim. It's on the books. And it's like, with that, you can justify anything. The laws of Nazi Germany were legal. I mean, they passed them by their own laws, and they had judges that would enforce them. That's not me, and that's not where I'm at. That's another fun one that I made, just again for the heck of it. His name is Montgomery. Montgomery Burns. I just
is his name really Montgomery? Yeah, it's Montgomery.
Montgomery. So you got Montgomery
that
there.
Totally looks like it too. Some glasses on him, man.
Look, I'm having fun with this. I'm trying to talk about the issues. The issues being not pot, but freedom. The issues that if you are not hurting anybody else, it's risk. You should not be put in a cage just because there's a law in the books that says, well, if you do X, Y, and Z, and you didn't have the right permit from some government bureaucrat, we get to stick you in a cage for 5 years, or 10 years, or for life. That's what it's about. And my point is that, let's have a county attorney of one of the largest counties in the United States say, you know what, I'm going to prioritize prosecuting people that hurt other people. Those are the people that we need to lock up. People that are doing everything from stealing candy bars, rape, and murder. Those are the people that need to be locked up. But not waste resources on locking up peaceful people that are not hurting anybody.
What about locking up cops?
Holding them accountable.
Okay, again, in my book, just because you have a badge or a gun, or you have some kind of piece of paper, or you're a member of the government or a bureaucrat, you're not above the law. You're held to the same standards. There are not going to be two standards here. If you break the law, you need to be prosecuted. If you break the law and there's a victim, you need to be prosecuted.
A number of questions. One is, when's the next sign making party? If we could help you make signs out of
well, right now we don't have one scheduled. We might try to do another one next weekend. So we've been doing them the last couple Saturdays in a row. So we might do another one next weekend.
Maybe you could get some publicity from the New Times. I mean, they had a problem.
Crazy thing. Bill Montgomery says that crazy thing. And one of the things that Bill Montgomery says, well, if you don't like what I'm saying, you may vote for somebody else. And they're like, well, it turns out there is somebody else in the ballot, that Michael Kielsky guy, and that's pretty much it. I mean, they really are doing what they can to really not talk about this race. Frank had a question. You had your hand up.
Every libertarian I've ever known that ran for public office, I asked him, I said, what happens if you win? And the answer I've always got is, I'll demand a recount. Are you going to demand a recount?
Hell yeah, he's been the lawyer on all kinds of challenges.
Yeah, well, trust me. If Count Elections actually says I got more votes,
there will be a
I have to demand a recount. There'll be a clamor for recount. Sheriff Joe will have his, posse surrounding election department building, carrying signs demanding a recount. You can count on that, because the biggest benefactor of having a friendly county attorney is Sheriff Joe with all his antics. And sorry, I'm not gonna be all that friendly to Sheriff Joe.
Yeah.
You gotta hand that.
Well, I think Ernie pretty much answered it. I don't understand the New Times if they're not supporting you. I mean, that makes no
Because
sense.
the promotion of a libertarian builds a base that they have to compete for the next election when there is a Democrat.
Yeah, they don't like libertarians.
They're stuck in the left-right thing, and they're on the left. They don't want you to
they don't get it. You know, to them, the idea that we should have less taxes is somehow.
Yeah, they hate
insane.
libertarians, big time.
Back there.
Your slogan you have, the no victim, no crime, no fine thing is outstanding. Is there a way to put that on the big sign? To do another banner?
Well, it's on there.
Oh, it's on there. Okay.
It is on there.
I'm going to see that as a mind-changing thing.
No victim, no crime,
Okay,
no time, no fine. And again, I make that very clear because if there's no victim, then I'm county attorney. Sorry, that goes to the back of the list. We'll get to it when we're done with all the. Do you know that somebody told me this recently, and I don't know how accurate this is. I haven't been able to find another independent source that verifies this, but supposedly about 60% to 65% of murders in Maricopa County are unsolved.
Yeah,
that's true. What in the world is going on here? Oh, that's right. I forgot. Sheriff Joe is busy, rounding up brown people. That's what's going on. Okay, he's busy rounding up brown people. He's investigating murder. Seriously, I mean, really, can we just? Okay, even if you disagree with me about illegal immigration being an issue or not an issue, I say we don't have an illegal immigration problem. We have a welfare state problem. But even if you say no, we really do illegal immigration. But really, can we prioritize illegal immigration over investigating murders? There's a dead body. Can we just, please, can we just focus law enforcement in this county on prosecuting people that are hurting people, that are murdering people, that are raping, that are burglarizing? Can we just do that? Just, that's what I'm talking about. I'm sorry?
Can we ignore Jose for a minute?
Yeah, what's your opinion on the cancer doctor?
Well, that leads into my question: is how could you get to the Hispanic vote? Because of the pot issue, the marijuana issue, medical marijuana issue, that turns my heart, but it might not turn the immigration issue.
My problem has been, again, the media realizes that my message appeals across the board, and they are just flat out ignored.
They are not going to give him attention.
And they're just, there's no debate schedules. I finally reached out to, I sent an email to the dean of ASU, the ASU School of Law, and the Phoenix School of Law, and said, hey, would you guys be interested in hosting a debate? And I heard back from the dean of the Phoenix School of Law, and they're like, yeah, we'll make a classroom available to you. Okay, so now, my next step is I got to find a moderator. I got to coordinate with Bill Montgomery and get him on board and coordinate a time. He's told me several times he's happy to do a debate, and he'll come to a debate. He's not afraid. He'll debate me, and that's one thing about him. I mean, in that sense, I got to give him kudos. He had a debate with Martha.
Originally, it was scheduled with you, but you were running for something or against it or something.
I don't know what was. Yeah, that might have been. That might have been. Yeah. But in any case, so he doesn't mind debating. He'll put his views out there. But that's why he says. I think he actually means it. If you don't want what I'm selling, vote for another guy. If you don't want people prosecuted for committing victimless crimes, hey, why don't you vote for somebody else? Oh, I get elected again, I'm going to go after these people that are committing victimless crimes. And that's what he's going to say. That's his mandate.
What's your opinion on castle doctor?
Opinion on what?
I wish I could buy castle. I don't know.
Would you prosecute a police officer who lied on the stands for perjury?
Yeah. Well, yes, but the problem always with that is proof. The perjury is exceptionally hard to prove. And I don't want to get into it. If the lawyers in the room, if there are any others, know what I'm talking about. Perjury is virtually impossible to prosecute.
Mike, a few years ago, you and I saw Gary Johnson debate Bill Montgomery specifically on the drug war. Ever since then, I've talked to lots of Republicans and so-called libertarians about the war on drugs, and specifically regarding you running against
the wrong term there. It's the insane war on drugs.
The insane war on drugs. And virtually to a person, they will say, but we can't have some guy that's going to go soft on freaking drugs. My question to you is that, isn't it really the God Squad thing, and we've got to control people and punish them for the way that they feel and think and act that's really the problem?
Well, I mean, I'm sure that's part of it. That's part of what motivates some of
That's
these
extremely
people.
offensive.
But it's a generation thing.
But part of it.
You want to live next to drug dealers and stuff like that, fine, but I'm tired of it.
Well,
You live next to drug dealers?
my point is this.
I'm not body from this stuff.
Without the war on drugs, they'd go away.
He wants to be an atheist, I'm an atheist.
I'm an atheist and I'm proud of it, sir.
Fool believes there's no God.
I'm not even going to get into that. It's much simpler than that. It's much simpler than that. It's about freedom.
Thank you.
It's about freedom.
Thank you.
And that's why I say, and I'm very explicit about it, I don't want to prosecute somebody for possession of an ounce of marijuana or 300 pounds. I don't care about the volume. As long as they didn't steal that 300 pounds. If they stole that 300 pounds,
Put it back.
for burglary. But that's the point. If I can't identify a victim, then what we're talking about is something there's a law in the books, perhaps, that says this thing is a bad thing, and we're going to lock you up and put you in prison. That thing, or having this bad thing, contraband. But again, I don't have to say that that law is invalid. I don't even have to go that far as a prosecutor. All I have to say is, okay, that's fine. That's on the books. We'll get to it eventually.
Are you thinking marijuana or just drugs in general, illegal drugs?
I'm referring to all drugs. Again, I'm not talking about somebody coming up to you and putting drugs in your body against your will. There's a crime there. You're a victim. I'm not talking about somebody maybe building a drug lab, a meth lab, next door to you and creating such a dangerous situation that they are creating victims, or even, or at the very least, potential victims, actual potential victims of their neighbors. I'm talking about the peaceful use of whatever, as long as you're not hurting anybody, as long as you're not creating a direct risk to other people. I'm not talking about drunk driving, and I'm talking about driving high on whatever drugs, because again, you're creating actual potential victims out there because everybody's in your harm's way. Okay, but I'm also not talking about somebody that has trace amounts of some drug that from days or weeks ago in their system. Again, let's be realistic. Let's prosecute those people that are hurting other people or exposing other people to actual danger, harm, physical, again, life, liberty, property. They're endangering another human being's life, liberty, or property, or have harmed another human being's life, liberty, or property. Those are the people that we need to prosecute. And let me make another point that's really, really important. My focus when I'm prosecuting those people, my number one focus is going to be victim restitution. Yeah. I don't want to just go after somebody that's done harm to you, that's hurt you. But we're taking care of you. We're going to lock them up, and then we're going to tax you to pay for their housing and health care. You were.
And then find them and get go.
Yeah,
and sex changes, got to pay for that.
Well, the whole thing is insane. What we need to do, if somebody steals your candy bar, they got to pay you back your candy bar plus a little bit for the time and hassle. If they hurt you, they got to pay your medical bills. If they do damage to your property, they got to pay to get that repaired. Restitution should be the number one focus. And if the individual that we're prosecuting is not, based on the best assessment we can, is not somebody that is likely to hurt anybody else, then we don't need to put them in a cage. Yes. That cage should be reserved for those people that absolutely cannot control themselves, that will hurt again and again. They need to be locked up, and that's too bad, and everybody has to pay for it, and the victim in that case is unlikely to get restitution. I'm sorry about that. The person has proven themselves to be so dangerous that we can do nothing but lock them up. Everybody else should not be locked up. Yeah. We have people in prison that have hurt nobody. That makes no sense. Even if you agree, if you insist that the law that you broke is an important law that needs to be enforced, but they shouldn't be locked up in prison.
Even if they're an atheist.
Why are they locked in a cage? Because, again, it hurts all of us. It hurts all of us. It costs all of us money. And really, for somebody who is peaceful, all you're really doing is you send them to criminal graduate school. Why are you doing that?
Yeah.
Because if they were peaceful before they went in, they're probably not going to be peaceful when they come out. That's insane. We got to stop that. We got to change priorities. And again, let me make one more point. Can you just imagine? Just imagine for a second when Maricopa County elects a county enforcement officer of one of the largest counties in the United States with with that kind of sign, no victim, no crime, no time, no crime, with a pot leaf on the freaking campaign sign. Yeah. Can you imagine? That's the critical mass. That's the event that might turn this whole insane war on drugs thing. Okay? What do you think that kind of message that's going to be sent around the country? It's time to stop the prohibition 2. It's time to turn that around. And that's, again, one of the reasons I'm running. Not because I care about pot. I couldn't care less. Never touch the stuff, never will. Couldn't care less. It's about freedom.
Yeah.
Sir.
Yeah. If you, here's a practical question that you're going to have to face if you get elected.
When I get elected, sure.
Yes. Let's say that you get elected. How are you going to handle the feds coming into the state and shutting down dispensaries? Like, for instance, over in Santa Barbara County, in Santa Barbara, they had 12 dispensaries. They have nothing left now. They all got shut down.
I can't do it all by myself. Okay.
I mean, are you going to be? Do you have a strategy?
Look, again, it's a practical question. I'm going to give you a practical answer. There's probably not a heck of a lot I can do. Okay. I'm not promising you, hey, the day after I get elected, it'll be paradise. All your problems will be solved. I'm not Obama. I'm not going to be campaigning that kind of message. Okay. That's not going to happen. The sea change will be simply the fact that I got elected and I'm running on that kind of platform, and that, in fact, the Maricopa County Attorney's Office, under my leadership, is going to be putting all those victimless crime cases on the back burner. We'll get to them in a few years when we're done with all those unsolved murders, okay? Can we do that?
Yeah.
That's going to be the sea change. I can't control what Tempe Police or Phoenix Police or Scottsdale Police does in terms of what bring to their local courts as opposed to the Superior Court. That's still going to happen, whatever it is. But it's going to start a whole new conversation. And it's going to be a huge deal because, again, a lot of the people that are right now running through the system in the Superior Court that are getting charged with felonies for marijuana possession. Felonies. That goes away. And that's the big change. So I can't fix everything. I can fix the things that I'm going to have control over.
Would you reopen the... Real quick, you mentioned DUI prosecution. How are you going to interpret a marijuana swab within 4 hours of a medical marijuana card holder driving a car getting a DUI?
Well, to me, the idea, the focus is going to be, is the person actually impaired, okay? The way Arizona has the statute written, it's broad. Arizona has a impaired to the slightest degree. And the way that's been interpreted is that even if you don't have 0.08 for alcohol, even if you don't have 0.08, if you have less than 0.08, but there are objective signs of impairment, such as swerving all over the road, et cetera, et cetera. Again, my standard is going to be simple. If you've got a whole bunch of that, I don't care whether it's alcohol or it's drugs. If you've got none of that, if you simply have, oh well, there's a trace amount of the metabolite of THC in the body, and there's no indication at all that they were doing, it's going to be a judgment call. Those are going to be the toughest cases for me to make that call on.
The Scottsdale police officer that killed 5 people, last one he shot in the back of the head while he was carrying a grandchild 2 months ago. Would you kind of take another look at that?
Well, absolutely. Look, again, the idea is
I can't believe you covered that one up.
Well, look, the government is supposed to be, the employees are supposed to be our servants, not our masters, and they're supposed to be held to a higher standard, not a lower standard. And our whole system has been turned upside down. You're held strict liability. If you break a law, strictly enforced against you. If some cop does the same thing, and they go, well, it's in the conduct of my official duties, then all of a sudden, in that case, that doesn't make sense to me. That's backwards. They're the servants. They're not the masters. If they're the masters, that makes sense. So let's be clear about that. Are they the servants, or are they the masters? So yes, I would hold government employees and bureaucrats strictly accountable to the law. especially the criminal code. So yeah, I would take another look at that. I would take another look at any of these abuses of power, excessive use of force. The police are supposed to be there to protect the individual rights, including investigating a crime, alleged crime, where there's been a victim that's been harmed by some other person. That's fine. I'm good with that. And if they happen to be involved in a situation that that escalates, if use of force is justified, then let it be justified. But this stuff about unarmed people just dying all the time.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Have you
Make this the last one, and Frank's tapping on the
Have you
shoulder.
thought about contacting LEAP law enforcement against
Oh, they know about
prohibition?
me. They know about me. Look, I'm a one-man band. I'm doing it all alone. So are you volunteering to be my campaign manager? Step up now. Folks, I'm running for office. You cannot have missed the fact that I'm running for office. You all know it. Make sure you do at least one of the following things. Communicate that I'm running to your friends, families, neighbors, whoever. Just, even if you don't agree with me 100%, let them know that there's a choice this year and what I stand for. And I mean everything that I said. There's people in here that are going to disagree with me. That's fine. But I actually mean what I say. So number 2, help me out. Throw some money my way. Come to our sign-making parties. Help us put up these signs. We've got a phone bank going on this afternoon. Everything is online through Facebook and Meetup. On my website, there's a link on the side that's got upcoming events. So again, please, I need help. Communicate, donate, or volunteer. Thank you very much, everybody.
Did John give a status? Did John give a status? What's happening with it?
No.
Everybody hear me?
What? Curious for that.
Books. First choice, 3127.
Oh, that's you.
3127, back in the corner.
Oh, then that's you. That's you. Hey, that's your brother.
All right, man.
Second choice, if you can get back there before this guy does, 3121.
312. It's this guy here. He had to leave.
Ain't gotta be here to win.
That's yours now. I'll give it to him if he shows up next
We got one? All right.
Yeah, 3121. Go grab
Third and last chance. 3123.
Oh, that's damn.
All right, John Stewart wanted to say something real quick.
Is that possible, John?
Time's up. I'm standing right here. When I get bored, you're done.
Show Me the Loan.net has recently kind of merged with an international group whose name shall just remain anonymous for now. This group is assisting in a smartphone app that'll be released in about 2 weeks. Michael was talking about this thing with cops. Just going to explain what the smartphone app is so that you can look for it when it's released. It'll be $5. When you get the smartphone app, you actually become a co-videographer and a member of the press. So you see all these videos of people, showing cops doing something nasty, and they can't do much because the way the law is written and they're under the rules of evidence and any kind of civil litigation. As a co-videographer, when you have the app, you will hit the button. That video goes out through our network. We have a 200 terabyte server up and running now. It'll go out to 1 million or so, actually 16.7 million people who were part of this group that shall remain anonymous. Now, anybody that is watching that video as a co-videographer has the same rights to sue, has the same rights as you do under tortious interference. So, if Sheldon's out doing 4409 stuff, and he hits the button and sends the video out of the cop beating somebody up, the 100,000 people that are watching that video right then have the same rights to sue that police officer as the man that's being beaten up by the police officer. The idea being that with our affiliation of this group that shall remain anonymous, and if you want a better idea, you can go out and look at that nicely painted Harley that's going to be the advertising campaign. The idea is when cops behave like cops, which we all know is a very bad thing to do, everybody that sees the video will be able to immediately file a lawsuit. And I am doing some assistance, we won't call it legal counseling, for this group that shall remain anonymous, so that the forms can be accessed and whoever wants to file a lawsuit can do it under an indigent status, and we can have the police department pay for us filing the suit against them, thereby defuncting them before we even start the case. The idea being that just like the way we beat prohibition a long time ago, is that the court couldn't handle the 70,000 lawsuits. So you'll see it, it's going to be released on October 16th. I'm the creator and I have the patent, and that's why this group that shall remain anonymous contacted me and wanted to join. I have a picture of one of their friends on the side of the Harley. Yeah, Pat.
John, the basis for allowing other people who view the video to be able to sue these government agencies, is that based on some kind of emeritus brief theory or something else like that?
No, I wrote the terms of service in as much as you become a co-videographer, and under the torturous interference laws in the U.S., it becomes you're making a video. So it doesn't matter if the other guy's in Alaska or Italy. You're actually both making the video at the same time. Then you will join what we hope will be the largest press association throughout the world, because everybody that gets the app and this other group that's going to remain anonymous for a while will all join that press association, so they have press credentials.
Why are they remaining anonymous?
They're just funny that way.
In the 90s, there was a thing called Poll Revere or whatever. It's called People News Network, PNN, and you got press credentials and all that kind of stuff. And he had a 2 gig server in the early 90s in Tucson. Oh my God, how did you do that? You know? And it was the same kind of thing. His family had a building that the University of Arizona wanted to expand their medical university, and they freaked out. And after the meeting, see? Huh? So you can't yell at me. Anyway, so what happened was they went after them, and to get them to sell, they didn't want to sell, or for as cheap as they wanted, they had the firemen come in and do law enforcement. They were like, oh, we're checking, oh, yeah. And they're using the firemen to do enforcement of codes, wanted to condemn the building, anything they could to get them. It pissed them off, so he created this People News Network. Everybody do exactly what you're doing, and they went out and started. This was in 92, around in there. This started, and it put them off on their heels, man. They didn't know what to do. So I can see the effect of this already.
Well, and the thing is, as a videographer and the lawyers in the room are familiar with torturous interference law, you can't win a torturous interference suit. Because just the mere fact that when you hit your button and the video of you showing the cop or your neighbor being an asshole or the teacher treating the kids bad, everybody that watches that live has the same rights to sue as you. Everything goes to the cloud. We're making private labels for the different law firms and the motorcycle clubs.
Okay, blah, blah, blah. You tell us about that later. How come you're not in jail?
Here's the thing. Obviously, you know, as a pro se litigant in a murder trial, that's very difficult. Right now, they're trying to run. The problem is, I pulled off something during court that nobody had ever done before, with the help of some of the paralegals in here. Got the video recordings of the trial every day. At the end of the day, I could pick them up one day behind. So we've gone through all of the video of the court. It was 2 months worth of trial, over 200 hours of court. I've been doing this a long time. I've never seen a cop take a stand without committing perjury. They call it testifying. I call it being a cop. But I've got them now through all of their acts of perjury. It's really not that hard to prove perjury. Just listen to a cop talk. The issue being that they took a bunch of pictures of me after the guy sent by somebody to kill us tried to kill me. But the cops took the pictures with a very bad camera. Then in court, the judge wouldn't allow us to print it on, they made us print it on photo paper so the jury couldn't see the injuries. Well, now I have, yeah, talk about a bad ruling. Now I have the world's leading forensic photographer has expanded all the pictures under the new Montgomery rule. The Montgomery rule in Arizona changed in June of this year for strangulation. So now you look at the electronic pictures, you can almost see the guy's fingers on my neck. Then, and that's Brian Neumeister. He's the guy that wrote the songs for, remember Blue Oyster Cult? Yeah, he used to be their songwriter. Now he's the world's leading forensic photographer. So he's the one that did all the picture adaptations and digitized. Then the world's leading strangulation expert looked at the pictures and has written up a whole thing saying I was within 4 seconds of being dead. This guy was high on LSD, so he's very
what
powerful.
you're saying is when they give the pictures, when they take the pictures and they give them to the jury, it's bullshit. Just like when they take a photo radar picture of you, it looks all grainy, but then when you go to court, they blow it up and it's like 12, 15 minutes.
If you can imagine a picture taken by a very low resolution digital camera, printed on the cheapest quality photo paper, or copy paper, not photo paper, that's all the jury.
Yeah.
And I fought for 2 days on that and lost. That's because...
Okay, so that means what?
That means they're trying to decide what to do with trial because under Arizona law, the Castle Doctrine, their case was the guy never touched me. They wouldn't take the clothing, they wouldn't search the inside of the vehicle, they wouldn't do anything. But now with all these experts saying he was within 4 seconds of death, he strangled me enough. This guy was high on LSD, so he's very hard to stop. But to where I had petechial hemorrhaging, which is the sign of where you're strangled almost to death, my right eye had petechial hemorrhaging.
But they took, when they took all these pictures of you, right?
Yeah.
And they were like these super megapixel pictures.
No, they use a shit camera, which for any criminal attorney, I now know a way to get all cop pictures removed from trial. Yeah, nobody knows.
So anyway, this puts you what? They're holding off on the trial.
They don't know what to do because the law says that if I was attacked, they can't prosecute, they can't arrest.
So they're gonna have to drop it.
Alright, so that's what we're waiting on there, really. For those of you that don't know, right before the Super Bowl in 08, their road rage kind of whatever thing, this guy is all high and so on. He gets out of his car, comes over, reaches into the truck, strangle whatever. Little known to him is that he had a gun in the vehicle. Shoot, bang, shoots some guy dead. They arrest him for murder.
Somebody
he's sitting in his car being attacked from a guy that would blog on this watering hole, some bar that he used to frequent, saying how to get that back drunk, we'll kick ass on citizenry.
They didn't like Ron Paul, and I was out hanging Ron Paul. I was one of the guys that asked Ron Paul to run for president. So
you know, hanging up signs and all that. So this guy just had a thing and doing it, and he just came up against a revolutionary with a gun, and it didn't work out for him. But the thing is that, you know, come to find out, he's kind of politically connected, you know, to some financial, you know. So it was just a thing. They had it out for John. Well, he hasn't been rolling over and being a real butthead, and all this stuff is coming out, and they don't want that tar baby on him. So we'll see what happens. All right, anything else? Done. Good. James.
I've got some bumper stickers over here and more of my flyers.